How's it going, everybody? Why do I only have 18 minutes? Anyways, so I guess this is going to be a short video because I don't have that much space on my phone. I don't know why. This happens all the time, and I cannot figure out why. I delete videos and all that stuff, and I don't know. Maybe I've got too many apps on my phone. I can't do an outdoor update today because it's still raining. We had Tropical Storm Eta come through last night, and as far as the inland areas of Florida go, not much, not much going. The only thing that I've seen is that same bean teepee that I had to fix the other day is down again, and I have to fix it again. I don't know, maybe I just didn't put it in the, maybe I didn't secure it very well when I originally put it in. I thought I did, but I think that they'll be okay, though. I don't think that it will, I don't think that it'll cause, I don't think it'll pull them up out of the ground, so, but yeah, I chopped down the cassava plants yesterday morning because I wasn't sure what the wind was going to do to them. They were getting tall enough that it was a good chance that it could have, I don't know if it would have totally knocked them down, but it would have bent them over really, really far. So I just went ahead and took them down. I'm going to save some of them, and I'm going to try to sell some of them to people who are interested in it. But as far as saving it goes, from what I've heard, you can dig a hole in the ground and put some leaf litter and stuff in there, put the canes in that, put some more leaf litter on top, and then cover it over, and it'll insulate it from the cold. Or you can put it in a shoebox, put it in the ground, throw some leaf litter on top, and then bury it. I don't think I have a shoebox, so I might just have to use the leaf litter and stuff like that. I may just take some of the leaves from the cassava plant and throw it in there, but it's just to keep it insulated because it doesn't like cold. But I'm definitely going to keep some canes and do it again in springtime. But otherwise, the cassava's down, so we can start digging it up whenever we want to use it. I'm interested to see how much is down there because the plants were enormous, as you've seen. So I'm interested to see how many roots are down there. I've got the sweet potatoes that I need to start digging up, which I may have to actually use them for something coming up. So it always feels a little bit like you get that sense of, I guess, pride when you go to use something and it's like, yeah, I grew that myself. It's funny how that gives you that sense of pride now, and back in the day that was just how it was. Like, I know, my great-grandfather, he grew a lot of what they ate and that sort of thing, and it was just everyday life for him, and for us it's a big deal, and I think we need to get back to it being just everyday life. Yeah, it's not, of course, when I go to leave my house, since I'm on the way to work now, the rain was just kind of drizzling. It wasn't raining too hard, but when I went to go out and actually film this morning, it was raining harder, of course. Yeah, no, as far as I know, I have to go out and check some of the trees, but I don't think any of them, I don't think the winds got bad enough. The wind gusts may have gotten, upwards of in the 50 mile per hour, 55 mile per hour range, but I don't think it was really all that bad. Just a lot of rain, and it's going to be rainy today, but it's going to clear up later, and then this weekend will be nice, so I might go out and do a video tomorrow morning, but we'll see how it goes. That's, as far as the garden goes, that's about it. Yeah, just hoping that those 3 bean plants that are on that teepee didn't get damaged, because it fell the opposite way of how it fell the first time. But like I said, I don't tie them tight to the poles. I just kind of not zip tie, but twist tie it a little bit to where it, my goal is not to cinch them down. My goal is to just have them up against that and stay there so that they can start climbing on their own, which is what they do. Once they figure out that there's something to climb there, they just start climbing. But I'm hoping by next spring or something like that, I'll get I can get a trellis built so that I'm not just using the poles, because the poles work, but I'd like to have a trellis so that they can just kind of climb wherever they want to. What I'm gonna probably do is get some chicken wire or something like that, and get either rebar or fence posts or something like that. Probably rebar is probably cheaper. Whatever's cheaper, I'm gonna get. So, and then I'm gonna put that along, wherever I'm growing them, and because I'll probably shift. I have them growing in the first row. I'll either shift to the end of that row, or I'll put it in a different row come spring. But I'm going to milk that garden. I'm going to milk the annual garden for as long as I can, because we have that ability in Florida, because we don't get the early frost and we don't get the severe frost and stuff like that. If we do, then it's game over. So the only thing that can survive frosts are things like brassicas and some greens and stuff like that. So I have thought about planting some broccoli and seeing if I could get it going. But I've also thought about, I've also thought about going and just buying starts and putting them in, because they'll grow faster. But I haven't decided yet. But they will handle frost. In fact, they actually like a little bit of frost. Things like broccoli, cauliflower, cabbage, kale, lettuce, stuff like that. They like a little bit of a frost. Now, if it freezes, then it's game over for them too. But I do have, old sheets and curtains and stuff like that I will cover my plants with. But it depends. I'm more concerned with protecting the trees than protecting the annual plants. But things like those beans and the pumpkins and stuff like that, if there's a frost, they're goners. So, but that's all right. It's really not time to grow them anyways. I'm kind of I'm not pushing the zone, I'm pushing the time, I guess. I'm pushing the season, because they grow better in the spring. Start them in like February, March, and let them grow through the spring. Depending on, Seminole pumpkin and yard long beans and stuff like that, okra, black eyed peas, stuff like that, can survive the heat during the summer here in Florida. So, but sometimes they just grow themselves out and they've ran their course. But so it's not really time to plant them, but I just did it anyways to see what would happen. And I'm getting starting to get a very good crop of beans now. So I'm hoping that the pumpkin will start blooming and get some pumpkins. But that's about all that's going in the garden right now. in the garden today, but like I said, it was raining too hard when I went to go out and film. But I've thought about doing a talk about amendments and fertilizers, just to kind of put that out there. If you're wanting to do like organic gardening, which I try to do 100% organic gardening, but so excuse me, I'm sleepy. Yeah, I mean, it also, a lot of it depends on what your soil needs. So I think a good thing to do if you're planning on planting directly into the ground and not using things like raised beds is to take soil samples and send them off to your local, like I know here in Florida, you can send it off to University of Florida and have the soil lab check it, run an analysis on it, and they'll send you the report, and it'll show you what's, what your soil integrity is as far as macronutrients go, like your nitrogen, potassium, and phosphate or phosphorus, and it'll also show you some of the micronutrients, things like magnesium, manganese, copper, boron, stuff like that. Which those are, excuse me, those are all necessary minerals. They're just more in trace amounts than your nitrogen and phosphorus and potassium. So, yeah. So that's what I would recommend if you're going to plant directly into the ground. Get a soil analysis done so you can kind of know what you need to do. You can tailor what you put on the ground, and it's not just throwing some all-purpose fertilizer out there, which, I mean, there's nothing wrong with all-purpose fertilizer, but it's nice to have an idea of what your soil really needs. Like I've talked about in my videos, my soil is very high in phosphorus because the area that I live in, the soil is just high in phosphorus here, and when I buy fertilizers, I'm looking for things that are high in, because I need nitrogen primarily, and I need potassium, and I need some other things like that. So I'm looking for stuff that's higher in nitrogen and potassium. I don't need phosphorus. It's got plenty in it already. So, I look for things that, the first number and the third number are higher. And if you're wanting nitrogen, you've got things like blood meal, urine's high in nitrogen, things like that. And then you've got all sorts of, feather meal, alfalfa meal, which I think alfalfa meal is high in nitrogen too. But alfalfa meal, cottonseed meal is high in nitrogen. But then you've got like bone meal and all sorts of different stuff, So you can find a lot of fertilizers that are kind of a mix already, but just pay attention to the numbers, Don't pay as much attention to, this is for roses, this is for, because some of that will be some of the minute things that are tailored towards those plants, but I'm looking at, I have citrus and avocado fertilizer that I use on pretty much everything right now anyways, because it's higher in nitrogen and in potassium, and not very high in phosphorus. In fact, I could use a soil that had absolutely no phosphorus in it, which you can find those. But anyways, I may end up in the future doing a longer discussion about this, because it's, there's a lot of intricacies and different ways to fertilize. But just giving a quick update, having to just verbally let you know what's going on in the garden because I couldn't get out and film this morning. So thanks for watching, guys. Please like and comment and subscribe and share it with your friends. Share it with anyone who you know is interested in gardening and homesteading and things like that, because you know they may be able to get some help out of this if they're just getting started. They may be able to give me some help, you know, because I'm certainly not an expert. And yeah, that's about it, and I'll talk with you later.